Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Ron is getting set up, so while he gets set up, I just wanted to introduce you guys. So today, welcome everyone, like I said, to today's webinar with your MAPS coach, Ron Wexler. So please note this webinar is being recorded and you'll automatically receive the webinar recording. If you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the questions box located in your webinar taskbar. Following the webinar today, if you have any questions, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's fasttrack@kw.com. All right, that's all for me. So while we wait, Ron should have the PowerPoint up in a second.
It's up and ready to roll if you want to connect me. Hey,
Ron,
I'm here.
See it. I don't see it on your screen.
You have to give me control. Oh wait, I have to do show screen, right?
Yes.
Sorry about this. Click here.
There you go.
All right. You got it? We good?
Yep. Looks good.
All right. Well, welcome. I'm so glad you're all here. So my name is Ron Wexler, and I'm a Keller Williams agent here in Chicago with 36 years of experience. I've closed lots and lots of houses. I'm excited that you're all here and that we're going to have a lot of fun learning today about the language of sales, and I'm going to share some other great information with you. The first thing I want to start with is the most exciting news of the month, and that is that Diana Kokoska is also going to be teaching some of the weekly courses with me and probably one other person. So that is going to be amazing. And for those of you who don't know Diana, she's the CEO of MAPS. She's an incredible mega agent, an awesome coach, a great leader, a great friend for me. She's a mega course writer, a mega bold creator, the bold creator, and she's also an amazing with the language of sales. And for those of you who aren't real familiar with the language of sales, I just want to share a little story. So when I was introduced to language of sales, I was already doing pretty well in business. I think I was selling 30 or 40 houses a year. At that time, that was considered to be a lot. Now it doesn't seem like anyone thinks that's a big deal anymore. And I took the course, and suddenly people were saying yes a lot sooner. And I was connecting to people a lot better, and I was getting more referrals. It just changed the entire way that my business was going. And so I took it once, and at the time it was a 6-month course, and it had about an hour and a half a day of homework. And then I took it again because my business kept growing, and I took it again because my business kept growing. And, you know, as I got to 90, 100, 150 transactions a year, I really credited language of sales for that success because it helped me to be able to connect with more people easier and have more people that I did connect with actually take action. And what was really interesting is when Diana gave me the opportunity to teach this course, I wasn't even doing any coaching at that point. And it just didn't fit in my schedule. And she asked me if I would teach this course. I didn't even hesitate for a minute. I said, I love that course. And then I told her the story I just told you, and she started laughing. And she said, I took it for 2 straight years. So I said, see, that's why you're better at it than the rest of us, because you did it even longer than we did. So I just want you to know that I'm teaching the course because I love teaching this course. Obviously, I'm teaching a course because I'm getting paid. I'm teaching a course because I see what a difference it made for me, and it's made in the lives of so many people who have taken it. And I'm just real excited to be a part of it. So what my agenda for today is, first of all, we're going to probably only need about 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. And what we're going to do is I'm going to just tell you a little bit about language of sales and how it's set up. Then I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about the mindset behind it, and then teach you just a couple little tidbits of what we actually teach in the course. So I want you to walk away from the conversation today with information you can actually use. You're going to actually be able to implement from what we're talking about today in a way that you're going to be able to go out and do some of the things that we're doing. So I think you're going to love that. And then, of course, at the end, I'm going to ask you to join and take the course with us because it's a lot of fun and you'll get a ton out of it. So let me just explain real quick, basically what we do in Language of Sales. It's 12 one-hour webinars. It's every Wednesday at 1 o'clock starting next Wednesday. If you have a missed course, or in the case of things like, I know we've had some times where our whole office was in bold and people still wanted to take Language of Sales. So while the classes were conflicting, they just got, you get a recording within 24 hours of each Wednesday course. So they would just listen to the recording and do the homework and everything that goes along with it and just follow along without having to be on the live call. So it's not a problem for you to miss a call. It's, of course, better for you to be here live interacting. The other thing that's really fun with this course is we will have our own interactive Facebook page just for this group. So you'll be able to share the work that you're doing. You'll be able to get practice partners if you choose to. You'll be able to ask questions, and that'll be our mode of communication during the course. And everybody gets to share and help each other. And you can also direct message me, through Facebook or email me during the course. So it'll be really great because it's not just the course, but it's really helping you dig down and get to know what you need to know. And understand, it's called Language of Sales for a reason. You are literally learning a new language, a new way to communicate. And just like when you learn to speak English, when you learn to speak a foreign language in school, when you learn to speak the language of business in business, Language of Sales is a new language, and you're going to have a little bit of energy around that. And it's not always going to be easy. If you're looking for an easy, quick thing, it's not. If you're looking for something that's kind of magical, I'm going to say that it is, because what happens when you take Language of Sales and really dig down and get good at it is life becomes easier. It just does. Your communication with everyone becomes simpler, stronger. It's pretty great. And if you talk to anybody who's taken it, they can share some of the stories about where they put it into use and what a difference it made. So just know that as far as I'm concerned, Language of Sales is the most powerful, inexpensive, and easiest way to increase your success with really quick results. So here's I'm just going to share some of the things that we believe. We believe you're probably doing it the hard way. In fact, I won't even go any further. Right now, if you can just type in your question box, if you feel sometimes that you're doing it the hard way, let's just get you guys involved in this conversation. Do you sometimes feel like you're doing it the hard way? Just give me a yes or no. Do you think you're doing everything in your business the best way that you possibly could? Or do you think you're kind of doing it the hard way and there might be a better, easier way to do it? Okay. Yeah, I'm getting pretty bombed with yeses and yes, it's the hard way. Okay, good. I just want to make sure I had the right audience. Welcome to real estate. I've been doing it for 36 years. Believe me, I'm with you. So here's what we believe. Diana says everything can come easily. You don't have to be a hardcore closer when you know how to say what you need to say. You don't have to pound people into the dust to get them to make a decision or to work with you or to move forward. You don't have to be the super salesperson. I mean, I always said that I was in sales training starting at about age 3 because my dad sold insurance, and basically everywhere we went, everything we did. I went with him when he was looking at cars. On the way back to the car, he would tell me everything the salesman did wrong and everything the salesman did right. And he'd talk about the merchandising when we were in the grocery store and how they were selling. So I was in sales training from when I was a little kid. Everybody doesn't have that benefit. So with Language of Sales, you don't have to be the super smooth, everything comes easy to you person, because once you learn this, you're going to have just a better way of doing it. So what we do believe is when you say the right thing in the right way at the right time, life will be easy and people will remember you. They'll work with you. They'll list with you. They'll buy from you. And I think the most important thing, and Gary is spending a lot of time on this right now, is that they will happily refer you, right? Gary, and the reason he's pouring his heart into creating all these new systems for all of us is because he gets that if we don't have a database of people who are loyal to us and want to work with us and feel great about working with us and referring to us, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. That's the truth of the matter, because the whole world is trying to suck away our leads and our clients and the people that would normally come to us, and we're taking a lot of that back. Well, you being able to build rapport with people so they won't even consider going somewhere else is a big part of that. So let's just talk a little bit about a definition for rapport, right? So why do clients come back to great agents years after their first transaction? I mean, my team can't believe, because I personally have not even been on a listing appointment now in 3 years. And last year, my team sold over 230 houses. This year, we'll probably sell closer to 400. And my team says, how do these people from the 1980s, of course, half my team wasn't even born in the 80s. They say, how do these people from the 1980s call and look for you now? How come they come and find you now? And I say, it's because of the relationship I had with them all the way back then. And so the question is, how can you duplicate that kind of loyalty, right? There's no magic pill or magic agents. Some people connect in a way that causes people to want to support them, and some fail to connect, and clients don't really even remember them. So which one are you going to be? What does it mean to your bottom line? Let's just do this little exercise. Take out a piece of paper and a pen if you don't already have one. I hope you are ready to write a lot of notes, or you could take out a tablet. You know, when I took out a tablet, it was with a hammer and a little carving thing. When you guys take out a tablet, it's electronic. Just kidding. But just take out a piece of paper and a pen and write this down. If you sold 30 homes a year and got a referral from just 10% of those 30 homes, that would be 3 a year, right? That's if you did a very fair job, right? Based on our numbers in MREA, we know it should be higher than that, but let's just be really conservative. Let's just say you closed 30 transactions and 10% of those people came back to you with a referral. Over 10 years, that's 30 sales. So take your average commission and multiply it times 30. And again, I'm being super conservative here because I think your numbers should be a lot higher. So multiply your average commission times 30 and type that in the box for me. Just give me some idea. Someone asked if you will be getting a copy of the recording with the slides. Yes, when you get it, it'll be the whole presentation, so you'll be able to use it. All right, so type in the box. So, okay, I've got 75,000, I've got 750,000, 180,000, 150,000, 250,000, 210. So you get the idea, right? 150. These are some pretty big numbers. And the reason I'm being conservative is, think about this. Let's say you're going to have a real estate career of 20 years. So double whatever that number is. That's the amount of money conservatively, if you didn't even make a decent effort at all, that you're losing by not connecting or holding on to people the right way. Take all that money, stick it in the bank on a yearly basis, or invest it in real estate on a yearly basis, and think about, that 250 all of a sudden is 600,000 or 700,000 when you go to retire, on top of the income you're already going to have. Someone just said conservatively 1.5 million. So you get the idea. The amount of money that it could be is massive. And so the goal for today's call is just to give you some ideas, and the goal for Language of Sales is to teach you how to connect with people in a way that you're getting that money, right? You're collecting those commissions over the years. You're having those connections. You're not having to bang your head against the wall. I mean, I was hardcore expireds and FSBOs every single day from 1993 until 3 years ago. It was, 8 in the morning until 11:30 every single day, pounding the expireds and FSBOs, doing call rounds, pounding my past client lists. I mean, that's how I got my numbers up. I always still, half my business came from referrals because I did a pretty decent job, not incredible, but a pretty decent job with the clients once I got good at Language of Sales. How do you do it without having to be that hardcore? I have to tell you, you're still going to have to work. As soon as somebody comes up with a magic pill, let me know. You're still going to work. The question is, how do you do it so you don't have to work so hard? So, the ultimate goal, right, is just to live a better life. Spend less time in your business and get better results. Or spend the same or more time in your business and get even better results, right? Anyone can work more hours to sell more homes. We want you to work the same hours and sell more, or work more hours and sell way more. I mean, if you know Diana or Tony or Gary Keller or John Davis, any of those people, believe me, you're not working half the hours that they are. And none of them probably need to work at all, right? They're committed to what they're doing. They're in the game doing what they want to do. You don't want to always be the person going on the listing appointment. I mean, Gary is the number one real estate agent in the country, right? We're all on Gary's team. He sells more houses than anybody in the world. I don't know the last time he went on a listing appointment, but I guarantee it wasn't recently. As you get great at this and build your database and learn to be a great salesperson, then a great business person, you can move forward with this. So if you're going to work the hours, let's get incredible results from the ones that you work. I hope you don't mind, but I also like to have a lot of fun. So here's what I'm going to tell you, right? Language of sales is a legitimate, fun, incredible way to have people stay connected as if you had hypnotized them into wanting to only work with and remember you. You learn to move people past that reflex no and towards great decisions. And you learn to deliver your message directly to their unconscious and connect with them. So I hope you guys don't mind, but I kind of like to have a little bit of fun. Here's the thing, though. Let's be really clear about what language of sales is not. It's not manipulation, right? Manipulation is exerting shrewd or devious influence, especially for your personal advantage, right? And I always just say, I'm not using my language of sales for the dark side. I'm using it to help people get what they say they want and help them move forward. Remember, the easiest decision for people is not to decide. People, when they're dealing with buying or selling real estate, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of concern. There's a lot of, oh my gosh, am I really going to sign a piece of paper that commits me to pay $1 million over the next 30 years? There's a lot behind them making decisions. You becoming incredible at helping them make decisions shows that you're really committed to what's best for them. So just think of it that way, and that's really how it is. So let's get into it a little bit, right? What is client rapport building, right? You want to build rapport and long-term connection with people by doing 3 things. So the first thing is you have to pay close attention to their model of the world. How do they see the world? How do they see things going? And I think I shared with you, what we're going to do is talk a little bit more about mindset, and I'm going to actually give you some techniques that you can use. You have to be in the right mindset first. So first, we pay close attention to how they see the world. We respect and connect with them based on their model of the world. We don't expect them to get the communication coming through us, through our way of seeing things. We get through to them, being with them as they are. We can keep connection to them through purposeful follow-up, right? And that's not necessarily a language of sales thing. However, it's really important that once you make that connection, you're still there when they're ready. And then you leave them wanting to share more business with you and your team because they loved the interaction and they loved the connection. They loved the way they felt when they were with you. And have any of you ever had that experience, and this is interactive, you can please share, that you bought something from someone and you liked them so much you just wanted to send them business, a car, clothes, I don't know, insurance, whatever it is, a boat. I mean, I have one guy that he was a used car salesman. I sent him 9 people who bought cars from him in 1 year. because I love the way he took care of me. He did a great job. So a few people are saying yes, they get it, right? You've had that experience. You want to be that person, and knowing how to communicate the way that we're talking about, that's where we're headed, right? Someone said my well system water company. They're fantastic, right? I love that. So financial planners, someone said, yeah, there's a lot of great people out there that if you connect with them the right way, they connect with you the right way, you're going to send them business. That's who we want you to be, right? So the question is, can you master language of sales, right? So to really understand and accelerate at the language of sales, you have to understand mastery, right? You have to be open to learning a new language, just like a foreign language or anything else. We define mastery as doing something so well and so often it's automatic, requires no conscious thought, gets the best possible results over and over and over again, right? I mean, you're probably a master at brushing your teeth. You're a master at getting dressed. I hope some of you are already masters at some of the bold scripts, right? Think about Michael Jordan or an Olympic gold medalist. What did they do to get where they are? How hard did they work to master what they did? So the question is, can you master language of sales? And the answer is, Diana says, absolutely, right? Why not? Think about Diana if you've had any interaction with her, think about what it's like when you talk to her. You walk away thinking, man, she is so amazing. She connected with me. She really gets me. I love just being around. I mean, this is how I've always felt hanging around with her. You just feel like she really gets you and she cares about you, right? If you've ever been around any politician, they can be completely the opposite of all your political views. And most of the successful ones, you walk away thinking, well, if I agreed with a little bit more what that guy says, I'd vote for him. He's a really nice guy, or she's a really nice woman. It doesn't even make any sense. It's because they're using this way of connecting to make you feel comfortable. So think about this. What would your life look like if 3 times more people connected with you than you're connecting with right now? Think about your free time, your family time, your savings, your kids' college, right? That you're giving. How much more? I'm having so much fun right now that I'm finally, after getting trashed, being on the south side of Chicago and being basically destroyed in the market crash where my income went down 75%. The most painful part of that, and it was very painful, the most painful part of that whole experience was having to say no to all the different charities that I always gave money to. I mean, I love to play that game. I love giving away money. So basically, helping you make more is going to make your life better. Think about what's missing in your life that will be there when you master the language of sales. Why do you think Diana is so passionate about this course, right? In fact, I'm pretty sure it's the only fast track program that she's going to be, helping to teach. And I think there's a reason for it. I think we all realize it. I think that's why, the bold coaches talk about it all the time. We all know that this is really key. Everyone's looking for magic pills. You're looking for the magic email company or Facebook marketing company. Everybody's looking for all that. And yet this is the beginning. This is the most basic thing. You could spend the same amount of money with that Facebook company pounding out great leads. And if you don't convert them at a high level, you're not getting the most for your money. So I'm not saying you don't do those things. I'm saying once you do them and you are having conversations with people, you want to get the most you can out of those conversations. So here's another thought. Great leaders are great followers first. And, I think about this a lot because I hit a point where I just kind of felt like I knew everything. And I realized my income just wasn't going up. It was staying the same no matter how much harder I worked. And it was when I finally gave over and said, there's people like John Davis and Gary Keller and Diana and, some of the great MAPS coaches I've had over the years. There's people who are so much better at it than me and can hold me accountable and help me get there. But I have to be a follower for that. And truthfully, I suck at being a follower, right? I got into real estate so no one could tell me what to do. And yet we know great leaders are great followers first. So don't let your ego cap your income. You have to learn before you earn. You have to follow before you get to lead. So mastering language of sales and others will follow your lead. They'll work with you and they'll love the difference you're making in their life. You've got to get to where you're comfortable and good at this to have other people feel comfortable with you. And, I always think like, what if you could learn a way to communicate to cause people to follow your lead? And maybe a couple people can share on that question. What would your life look like if you communicated in a way that others followed your lead and they bought into your passion and they wanted to play with you and do things with you and refer to you and be in the business with you? So someone just said, I really needed your program a year ago. Believe me, no matter what year you start, the year that you take it, when I did it, I believe it was 1993 or 4, and I had already been in the business for 8 or 9 years. And as much as I thought I was doing okay, this is what propelled me to the level that I got to eventually. So I understand you, and the best time to start, what do they say about the best time to plant a tree is 50 years ago. The second best time is right now. So we're here right now, and that's good. So I'm just going to share a couple of things. People said life would be easier and more fun. Someone said from my kids to my clients, especially, you would have influence. What I found that was really interesting is absolutely my communication with my kids, and things like, the little battles parents have with their kids go away, because when you're good at language of sales, your kids just kind of do what you tell them to do. It's kind of fun. And someone else shared that they would have more influence. So you guys get the idea. So I know I'm spending a lot of time in this before digging in. There's a reason for it, right? I want you in the right mindset as we move to the next step. Just wanted you guys to just take a second and read that slide. Oh, what is that? Everybody read that 3 times. I'm just kidding with you guys. We'll get to that. All right. So let's talk about today's lesson. And I want you to just keep thinking: less hours, more income; less conversations, more income; less arguments with my kids, more results for them doing what I asked them to do; more connection with my spouse, and together us getting what we say we want. Just throwing that out there. So language of sales understands how powerfully the mind and the body influence each other, right? We acknowledge the fact that people attach a certain feeling to you based on how you make them feel. Diana teaches us constantly that people like people who are like them. They drive the same cars, live in the same areas, wear the same clothes, go to the same house of worship, eat at the same restaurants. Hint, hint, hint. They use the same realtors. They use the same service providers. When people like you and feel comfortable with you, they refer you. That is the goal. So let's learn. Oh, here, let me just share one more thing. People will reach out to reactivate and relive the good feelings they have had when they were around you. They want to relive that feeling. You made them feel good. Have you ever noticed that certain past clients go out of their way? They're the ones that always show up when you're doing any kind of a activity. They pop in. I have clients that would just stop by the office to say hi. I had one guy that used to come when I was teaching. He said, I just like hanging around you. I like your energy. I like what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I know I made him feel good. And I knew him since I was like 16 years old. In fact, he was a school teacher, and I worked with him and his special ed teacher. I used to go help him with his kids, with the special ed kids. And he literally would just show up at the office and come to my classes if I was teaching a class, right? People that like being around you, that feel good around you, are going to spend more time around you. So people will reach out to reactivate and relive the good feelings they have when they're around you if they attach good feelings to the interactions that you've had. So we don't have time for a full-blown lesson, but I thought I'd share just these 3 quick techniques that you can use to have people know, like, trust, remember, and refer you. When you implement these, you'll instantly start to understand the power of language of sales, and you'll know why Gary and the top educators around sales love this course. So let's learn a few things that you might not have heard of before. We're going to talk about crossover mirroring, mismatching, and the instant rapport technique. So I'm taking you guys somewhere that no one has been before. So let's talk first about crossover mirroring, and some people call it crossover matching. It's taking a movement or characteristic of another and mirroring it in a different part of your body. So we all learned mirroring and matching in bold, or most of us did. And the thing was that you mirror or match the behavior, the rate of speech, the breathing, the body movements. You know, they cross their legs, you cross your legs, right? That's mirroring and matching. This is crossover. So let's say someone is kind of breathing choppy, you tap your finger to that beat. They're tapping their finger, you tap your foot. As they're making a point, they might be bouncing a little, you join the rhythm of their movement. They cross their legs, you cross your arms. They're rocking a little back and forth, you slightly nod to match their rhythm. So I'm just going to stop for a second because I know a lot of you have never heard this before. Does what I just said make sense to you? Can you picture what I'm talking about? You're still mirroring or matching. You're just matching with a different body part. Okay, I've got a few yeses popping in. I got a yes, brilliant. Yes, I wish I had thought of it, but it was people much smarter than I. What effect does this have? Okay, that's great. Is it stronger than a mirror or match? So what happens with it is, first of all, it's not as obvious as a mirror or a match. Not that people ever catch you. I've never once had anybody say to me, are you mirroring and matching me? Right? And the thing is, when you match them in some way, their unconscious is just picking up on the fact that you are like them, right? What does Diana say? People like them. So that's the science behind it. And I'm just not smart enough to take you any deeper. I'm sure you could look it up. But that's the bottom line, is that when you're matching somebody's rhythm, they're on an unconscious level going to feel really good and comfortable with you. So, just take you through a little bit more, right? It's simply put, you match a characteristic of them, but with a different part of your body. And you're subtly connecting with someone in a way that has them liking you. They're not even conscious of why, right? That's like that thing where sometimes you bump into someone and you have a conversation and they walk away and you think, God, I really like that person. On some level, they did something to connect with you and make you feel comfortable or good about yourself. So once you are in sync, what's really fun, and this goes with mirroring and matching, and it also goes with crossover mirroring and matching. Once you're in sync, you can use the next thing I'm going to share with you and to test to see if you are in rapport and if you're in sync. And then once you're in sync, you can easily test that. And then you can return back to being in sync with them. Yes, it's fun. Somebody just shared, they said with partner studies, they show that when you lay down next to somebody, your breathing will automatically align. And so here, let me just share a thing I did with my son, Trent, when he was a little baby. I mean, he's 28 years old now. But when he was a baby, he had bronchitis. And he would wake up in the middle of the night and he'd have this fast, choppy breathing. And he'd be like gasping for air, and it would just go, like I was like, I don't know how he's even getting any air in. It's going in and out so fast. And I would lay down and I would put him on my chest, put his head right on my chest so that he was, hearing my heartbeat. And then I would match his breathing. And I just start going, ah, ah, ah. And then I go, ah. And then I'd slow my breathing, and he would come right with me and stop breathing so fast. And we got into sync so easily. And so that's what happens in the same thing. And I'm going to share a little example of how that actually might look. But just know that that's basically what that's about, right? So what you can do then is you can practice this other method. And again, these are ones you probably have never heard of before. This one's called mismatching. And so in mismatching, you're purposely adopting a different behavior pattern than the person you're in rapport with. You break the rapport for the purpose of redirecting, interrupting, or even terminating a meeting or conversation. So we also call this, in another function, we call this a pattern interrupt, right? It works really great with people who are animated when speaking or sharing with a passion. You get into rapport with them through crossover mirroring or just plain mirroring or matching. Then when their destructive communication is taking things in the wrong direction, zap them out of it with a mismatch. And so I got to see this in action very recently with an agent in one of our offices. So this guy was really like totally out of control, right? I'm a visiting OP in this office. It's not the office where my team is. So I go there like once a week and spend time with the agents. And he's on the other side of the wall from me. And I hear him just completely out of control, slamming the phone down and talking really loud. And just, he's a good guy. He was just slightly animated. And I love this. Our team leader just couldn't stand it anymore, right? And this is a brand new team leader. This guy's been in that office probably for 15 years. This team leader is brand new to the job, brand new to the role, brand new to that office. He just couldn't stand it. He walks into the guy's office, and I'd already told him that he had my blessing to fire him if he couldn't fix him because he was so disruptive and just not our behavior. He's not the way we behave in our offices. He walks in his office. He matched his energy and frustration. Let the agent just share all the issues that were making him act that way. So, he'd say, oh, this client, blah, blah, blah. And the team leader said, oh, I can't believe that client acted like that, right? He just mirrored him. He just stuck with him. Then the team leader, I love this. He slowed his speech down drastically, lowered his voice almost to a whisper, took a prolonged breath, and said, I feel for you. And I know something needs to change right now. And it was great. That agent just joined in the long breath. And the team leader was able to bring him completely out of that other state into a different one. What's fun for me is that was the fourth team leader that agent had experienced in 4 years. And when I first went there and looked at the office and, thinking about buying the office, knowing this was the long-term guy who'd been there forever, I, wanted to get his opinion. I sat down with him and some of the other top agents before I committed. And he was telling me all the horror stories of all the other TLs. And of course, I was thinking it was just none of the other TLs had the guts to do what Steve just did with them at that moment, right? He told me he didn't like any of them and blah, 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 blah. Well, suddenly the lion was tamed, right? He just started asking Steve for advice all the time. Now he stops by the office for input, and he's on his way to more income. That's what's really I was just, we're transmitting today and I'm looking at the numbers for that office, and this guy's business is transformed just over the last 4 to 6 weeks. He's starting to do really well, and it's really fun. And I know it was because of what happened between him and the team leader. So, I think about it a lot, right? Steve didn't manipulate him. Steve helped him to get into a state that's more productive for his life. He's making more money. I think he's probably not going to have a heart attack now. And without that pattern interrupt or that mismatch, I don't think it ever would have happened. I don't think because I think most people would have just gone in there and screamed right back at him instead of actually helping him break his pattern. So they got connected, and I'm assuming they're going to continue working together as a result. So how does this help us create a customer for life, right? Think about it like this. You have a buyer or seller. Are they ever under stress? Are they ever heated, frustrated? Are they ever kind of out of it, right? When you're the person for the client. They like you, they enjoy you, they want to be around you, they tell everyone about you. That's how you deepen those relationships through language of sales, right? For under $400 in 12 hours of your life, you start to learn an entirely different way to connect with people. That's how you start to get more of what you want in your life. And, I think about this a lot. A lot of people in real estate, I've been in it a really long time and I've seen a lot of people come and go. And a lot of people, I've never seen anybody come into real estate and say, I just want to buy a couch and then I want to quit, right? We all have big dreams about what we want to get out of our business, out of real estate. And if you can't connect with people in a way that causes them to want to work with you, you're going to have a much harder role. You're going to have a much harder role. All right. So let me answer one or two questions, and then, there's one question here I think is going to be helpful to all of you, and then I've got one more technique for you. First of all, on those two techniques, does anybody have a specific question? All right, I'm going to answer Matt's question. If anybody else wants to type in a question. Matt just said, do you have to mirror them first before mismatching in order to have them follow you and trust you in order for them to change? And I would have to say it totally depends. I think by mismatching, I think you're getting into sync with them. I think to try and just hit them over the head with a pattern interrupt is a little different than being in rapport first. So I would try for rapport first. If you see it's not happening, then you still do it. Like your school teachers did it to you. Like if you were acting really crazy or out of control, they were like really calm and quiet. Or if you were being disruptive, they would just do something to break you out of it, like you had no choice. So in order for them, like in this case, I think if the team leader had walked in and just hit the guy over the head, he would have had what he always had, which is, I'm yelling at you, you're yelling at me. The fact that he went in there and connected with them a little first, I think is what pushed it over the top. All right, so I don't see any other specific questions. So I'm going to go on to number 3. Are you guys ready for one more, or have I already overwhelmed you? Let me just get some yeses or nos. Okay, keep going. I got to keep going. I love that. All right, so here, let's do this one. So this one you probably have seen some version of before. First, we have to define rapport again, right? It's when two people are in sync with they're connected to and comfortable with each other. So here, I'm going to share something with you that I don't think we've shared in this course before, and I'm not sure if you've heard it in bold or not, but there's a few indicators of rapport. So I'm going to give you 3 things, right? The first one is a feeling of confidence, peace, security, connection, and warmth. Right? So people, when they're the way you know if they're in rapport is when you're getting that from them. The second one is verbal phrases of agreement and familiarity. So they're repeating what you say and they're just in agreement with you, right? And like with sellers, I always knew that I had them when I would nod my head and they would nod their heads, right? I kind of knew we were in rapport. And then following the lead of each other back and forth. So I'm crossing my arms, they're crossing their arms. They lean over, I lean over. You kind of just pass, once you're in rapport, you pass the lead back and forth. And that goes back to what I was sharing with you about leading. You have to lead, you have to follow to lead. It's okay to just go with however they are and be with them. So let's talk about the instant rapport technique. This one is a lot of fun if you do it, and it's a blast because you can actually see the results immediately, which we all love immediate results. So here's the thing. You become them 100%. At first contact, you mirror and match exactly their body, their tonality, their rhythm, their tone, their rate of speech, and yes, even if they have an accent, you match that too, especially over the phone. You match the first few words, the breaths, the sounds, the tone, everything. Match it like your life depends on it. Match it like if you don't get this right, you'll never succeed. So you want to match them 100%. So they answer the phone and go, hello. You go, hello, it's Ron Wexler calling from Keller Williams. You match them exactly. And how long do you hang on to it? 5 to 8 sentences, 10 sentences maybe, 30 to 60 seconds until you see they're matching you. And you can do something to break the rapport, right? And do a little bit of a pattern interrupt to see if they follow you or if you lose connection. So you're sitting across from them. They have their arms crossed, you have your arms crossed, and you seem to be nodding together and talking together, and you're sharing back and forth. Uncross your arms and lean back from the table. See what happens. If they uncross their arms and lean back from the table, then you're in sync. You're totally in rapport. Once you have that kind of rapport, they will follow your lead. They'll listen to your suggestions. They'll join you on the journey, right? And just for the fun of it, if you want to really get a lot out of this, we have the 4th of July tomorrow. Try it on the people you see tomorrow, no matter who they are, even if they're people that you see all the time. Do it with them and see what happens. Stay with them 100% just for the fun of it. And when you feel rapport, break it and see how long it takes to get it back. So I know I went pretty fast, right? I respect your time. The holiday is tomorrow, and I appreciate you sticking with me. So, there's another thought, right? We're in a language-based business. The better we are communicating and connecting, the more connections and money we make. The more we stick with our current way of being, the more we're going to limit our income potential to whatever it is right now, because your current way of being is what got you where you are. Why work more hours to make the same income? How about working less hours and spending the rest of that time with family, with friends, out on your boat, wherever it is? How about taking that same income in less hours or making a greater income? That's the goal, right? So far in your career, what has not learning the math language of sales cost you? Remember that number that you wrote down? What would you do with that money? Who could you help? How will it change your life? The question is, would you like to learn more techniques like these that will make a massive difference in your life? So just to give you an idea, when you learn these techniques in our class, then you spend the next 7 days practicing them, and we actually give you homework. And we share on the Facebook page to make sure we're all making progress. Then you come back the next week and we teach you something new. So not only that, but you have the fun of us coaching you. So if you have questions about your business or other things, you can slip those in. It's easiest you just email us, but between me and the other people teaching the course, just communicate with us. We're here for you. We want to see you have a huge breakthrough through the class, right? The question is, would you like to learn more techniques like these that will make a massive difference in your life? Would you like people to connect with and stay connected to you easier and more completely? Do you want your clients 20 years from now to still go looking for you, even if you're retired and on a boat somewhere, right? And what is the price you're paying right now for your current skill set? What is it costing you? So cut your losses and up your game. You deserve it. So do your clients and the people in your life. Here's what I'm going to ask. Join Diana and myself in the language of sales. Get on track to an easier life with more people, having a greater experience working with you and referring business to you. Okay, so let me answer the basic questions, and then if you have more, I'll be glad to answer those. The class is 12 weeks. It begins next Wednesday. The classes are always Wednesdays at 1. Wednesdays at 1. They go from 1 till 2. They are always recorded, and you will always get a copy of the recording, usually within 24 hours of when we hang up. And then you'll have the Facebook page for active interactions, and I'll give you, at that time, you'll have my email address if you want to email me directly or just message me on Facebook. That seems to be the easiest thing. Your investment is $396. Don't ask for a discount. Diana is involved. I thought we should have just raised the price to $1,000 as soon as she got involved, but it's only $396. To sign up, you go to mapslos.com. So it's Maps Language of Sales, right? Mapslos.com, and you just hit the registration button. Think about this. We're halfway through the year. I'm sorry, yes, it is Central Time. I just assume the whole world's on Central Time. I know that's not right, since probably it isn't. However, it's 1 o'clock Central Time. All right. You're halfway through this year. If you're not at least 60% of the way to your goal, you're probably behind for the year, because everything you do in November, December is going to next year, right? So just remember, if you get on and really start cranking right now and doing better with the people you're speaking to, you can get back on course. And if you're ahead of course or on course, then let's just up that game. For $396 in 12 hours of your life, you're going to have a better life, right? You're going to do more. Things are going to be better. So join us at Language of Sales, mapslos.com. If you have questions, don't hesitate. You can just email me, ron@ronwexler.com, ron@ronwexler.com. When we sign up, we're going to send out a message with all the information about all the classes. So you'll have all the dates as soon as you sign up, and then we'll give you the information about the Facebook page and everything else, so you'll be ready to go for next Wednesday. I really appreciate you all being here, and everybody stuck with me through the whole call, which I love. I'm glad you're here. You will get a recording of this call, and I know I went a little fast. Probably if you go back and listen to it 1 or 2 more times, you'll probably pick up even a few more nuggets. Thank you so much. Have an incredible Independence Day with your families. Go get them. Whether you join us or not, go kick some butt the rest of the year. I appreciate all of you, and go get them. Take care.